Hello and welcome to this special edition of ET Now Startup Central. As you can see, we are not in the studio today. We are at the Flipkart headquarters in Bengaluru with a very special guest, Kalyan Krishnamurthy, the CEO of Flipkart. It's a very hectic week for him because they are right in between the Big Billion Days sale, but thankfully he's agreed to give us some time today. Thank you so much, Kalyan.
Welcome to our office, Chandra.
Thank you.
Thanks
and
for
welcome
coming
to our show. Thank you so much for giving us time
right
in between BBD. We can get a sense that, this is perhaps the most hectic time of the year for you.
Yes, we are very busy actually. As you can tell, it's really busy
And you've been having some sleepless nights,
Yes, absolutely. Not just me, actually the whole building. We've been up the last couple of days, last 4 or 5 days actually. But it's a very fruitful few days, very exciting few days. I think this is the true spirit of the festival season, especially the Big Billion Days of Flipkart. The whole building comes together to make this event happen with one common purpose. It's unique. Actually, it's very, very unique, and we're very proud of this to be owning the Big Billion Days franchise.
Right. Yeah. In fact, if I look at it, this is what your third Big Billion Day, and it's your second as CEO.
True.
How is this different from the previous ones that you've handled? Of course, the big change is, from a global management perspective, you're now Walmart-owned Flipkart. But fundamentally, on the ground, how has it changed things for Flipkart? I mean, do you have more leeway, or, how has it changed things for Big Billion?
Okay, I'll just answer these two different questions. How have things changed for us? Nothing really. So we operate very locally here, and also don't forget this festival season event here, the Big Billion Days, is a very local Indian phenomena. So it was started by Flipkart a few years back, and we have improvised, we have scaled it up. So it's very local, so nothing really changes. What has changed in the festival season this year, and how Big Billion Days has evolved for us? See, what we have tried to do, first of all, is over time, when it first started, it was a sale event.
Right.
Today, it's not a sale event anymore. The sale event perception for Big Billion Days is 10% of it. It's all about exclusive selection for the middle of the market and value. And value doesn't mean discounts or offers only. Value means any kind of affordability. So, for example, the kind of financing schemes we have for customers through our partners, financial institutions, banks, and of course our own fintech products, it's massive. It's just huge. It's well into good double-digit percentages of our GMV coming from financing constructs. The second
So you're not saying it's a sale event, because the first thing that people look at, I mean, I just have to look at Times of India yesterday, today, and you see so many offers from Flipkart and Amazon. So the immediate perception is that this is a sale event.
But actually, it's a good point. So even the marketing callouts, even the Times of India, the jacket which you saw, just look at the callouts. It's not just about discounts. There is a lot of value callouts. So as I said, the first one is the financing one. Second is all our product exchange and trade-in constructs.
Right.
Like, you can, when you buy a new device, you can actually return your old device and actually get a value for your old device adjusted to your new purchase. The other thing is a lot of value-added services being included. And finally, for the first year this time, we are scaling our private label products. We have 200 verticals where we've launched our own brands. It's doing extremely well, and these are all catered to the middle of the market. Huge value being generated for the customers through this. So all of these are our value constructs, not just discounts and offers.
In fact, coming to that, have you seen the traction really pick up in terms of the private labels? Is there a percentage perhaps that you are seeing picking up? Earlier it was, say, 30-70 or 20-80. Have you seen that going up? Any way you can quantify it? I know it's
Of course,
early.
Actually, this is really the first year of scaling of our private labels. We launched it about a year back, and the previous sales season, it was too small. So anywhere from 7 to 10% of all our numbers will come from private labels in the categories we've launched private labels. So in the 200 verticals I spoke about, so we will actually account for 7 to 10%, which is actually pretty good being the first year of operation. Across categories, appliances and televisions, furniture, the Smart Buy brand, fashion, across everywhere, it's anywhere from 7 to 10% is what we're targeting.
Right. Yeah. And Flipkart's had an edge when it comes to the smartphone category, the electronics. At least that's the pattern we've seen in the last few years. Is that going to continue this time around, or are there other categories that you've increasingly sort of diversified your bets on or hedged your bets on? Because Amazon is also sort of going down the same path in terms of electronics and smartphones.
Yeah. So let me just give you some data points first, right? From an edge point of view, we are clear destinations and market leaders in smartphones, all kinds of appliances and televisions, categories like furniture, in fashion, and also to give you some more data, about 65% of our customers today are between fashion and home products. So we are clear leaders in the smartphones category. There is no doubt about that. Appliances, all these categories, we have a 70% plus share.
70%. Okay.
By far, I would say, even in fashion as a group, we have 75% share. So clear market share leader in these categories. But if you just look at where the next level of growth is coming from, the next 5 years, the next 6 years, it's about lifestyle categories, fashion, home, all the women-centric categories, baby care, toys, beauty care. This is where the next level of growth is coming for Flipkart right now.
Right. So Flipkart is sort of has a lead so far compared to, say, an Amazon.
In this festival season, we don't see any relevant competition in this festival season.
That's a big statement to me.
Yeah, we've always felt that, and we've stopped talking about competition because of that.
We really don't know who to believe. Each one comes up with their own statistics, and some people say 100% jump in this and 200% jump in that.
Yeah.
So if you can just clear the
Shall
air
I give
for
you?
us.
So
once
as I said, we have a 75-80% share in this festival season. And one way to validate that, actually it's not output numbers, but one way to think about this is just go to our app and start shopping, and you will just look at the selection, the depth of selection, our private labels, and just go to competition's app and you look at.
And by competition you mean
I don't want to take
Paytm,
any names. Yeah, actually, as I said, there is no clear number 2 in the market after us right now. Yeah, but go ahead. I think you know who the market is. There are people in the market who are desperately trying to compete. But absolutely go ahead and check out the...
Okay, so that's a headline. You're saying there's no clear number 2 in the market after... Flipkart.
No, we don't see any clear... In this festival season, as I said, it's a bare minimum 75% share we are tracking to, just in 1.5 days. The Big Billion Days sale we announced is for 5 days. We are, as of right now, 90+% confident actually that we'll do all our numbers by the 4th day. So that's how we are looking at it.
And in terms of GMV, how do you see these 4 days or 5 days contributing?
To what? Sorry, to...
In terms of the overall GMV that you expect.
In the festival season?
That's right.
Actually, this will be, if you just look at a 30-day period as the festival season, which started in the country with Big Billion Days kicked off, and until Diwali. For the 30 days, it will be 50% of GMV coming from these 5 days.
Right. And you spoke about how home, kids, that's an emerging category. But one category that we keep hearing about is grocery.
Yeah.
Apart from furnishing, of course, which is also likely to be a very good category in terms of margins. You have made some moves on the grocery front. But how long before we see this really playing out for you, especially after Walmart's entry? People expect a bigger push from Flipkart in that category because of the global experience that they bring.
Yeah. See. If you want to win retail in India, if you want to win commerce in India, you have to be a leader in grocery. There is no two ways about it. Okay, the way Flipkart has looked at any kind of customer segments or categories is how do we fundamentally solve for this rather than just playing in those.
Right.
And that's the way we are approaching grocery. Today we are only in 4 cities. And also 3 of those 4 cities got launched about a month back. So we are still kind of building the grocery business. In Bangalore, actually we grocery launched about a year back, and we are the number 2 player today in Bangalore alone. But it's, as I said, it's 1 year. It's just 1 year we launched grocery in Bangalore. We are going to play grocery in a meaningful way, but we are going to solve for the customer. It's very easy to just get in, throw money at it and build numbers. We are not doing that for grocery. It's a very tricky category. Of the 600...
And you've sort of been burnt in this category in the past, because there have been instances...
I won't say we've been burnt in this category in the past.
No, I mean, are there lessons from that you will take this time around?
Absolutely. There are lessons we have learned. the way we have approached the grocery business this time is very different from ever before. We are scaling it very well. Of the $600 billion of commerce, product commerce that happens in the country, 400 billion is grocery. If you just look at the customer velocity in offline retail today, 85 to 90% of transactions happen with grocery. So, as I said, we have to win grocery. There is no two ways about it, but we are taking a 5-10 year view to winning grocery. We're not just rushing into it.
Right.
So it's a local business.
And if I look at the way Flipkart's evolving, Kalyan, it's no longer, you don't want it to be just an e-commerce company, because that's the way we've seen conglomerates globally also evolve. So now we are hearing about, financial services being a promising area, an NBFC license perhaps. We also hear about, you being interested in ramping up the content offering. There are speculations about Hotstar. So is that going to be the focus for you in the coming year or so? Because, people want an amalgamation of offerings. They've been exposed to what Prime has to offer. And, they've seen global examples in Alibaba. So how are you going to build out Flipkart?
Yeah, I think the Chinese market is a better example of offering an ecosystem of services for the customer.
Right.
So it's been a good example. I think there are a lot of success stories there. 70 to 80% of our core will continue to be e-commerce, product e-commerce. We will get into other services, but through partnerships. That's been the DNA of the company for several years.
By partnerships, you mean acquisitions? Will it be strategic stake?
It could be strategic stake, or it could be partnerships. I'll give you one example. We launched travel on the Android app.
Right.
Not sure if you've seen.
Right.
It's barely 4 or 5 months old now. We partnered with Make My Trip, which is India's largest travel company. And it's doing extremely well for Make My Trip and for us. So this is a perfect example of a partnership. We launched payments on the Flipkart app, but it's powered by our own sister company, PhonePe. Very big win-win for PhonePe and for Flipkart. So we are very happy with the way the partnership is going. This is the way we will look at everything. So we will try our best to play more and more on where the 18 to 35 target group in India spends time, right?
Yeah.
That would include things like content, that would include maybe gaming, maybe education, all of these, but we would like to go through partnerships. That's the DNA of Flipkart, rather than building everything.
So you will sort of take a call on what you can build organically and
absolutely
what
correct.
You can't.
And what we can build organically and where we focus, see, there could be a view that we can try to build everything ourselves, but e-commerce and the infrastructure related to e-commerce is where the focus of our investments will be. Everything else we'll try to partner.
Right.
Yeah.
And in terms of inorganic strategy, we've seen, the AI startup that you bought out recently. So inorganic, will that be the focus? Perhaps more niche offerings to complement your breadth of services?
See, actually it's a good example. We bought Live. Live is a perfect example of a very talented team. A very strong engineering DNA, a very strong technology DNA. And it's a small and very focused team who's solving a problem for the next generation of users for us, right? So today e-commerce still happens in the top 70, 80 million users. How about the next 100, the next 200 million users? Solving for language is going to be a big part of that. That's the reason we acquired Live. And we're going to build language capabilities through speech and language capabilities through Live.
One mega trend that we've seen in the Indian startup ecosystem this year is Indian companies going international. So you have an Oyo scaling up in China, you have an Ola, opening up in UK and Australia. Will Flipkart look at emerging markets at all now that you have Walmart with you, in terms of taking some of these learnings? Because you've built a lot of this ground up. Are there learnings that you can apply to other emerging markets?
See, if you just look at the next 4 to 5 years, the retail industry in India will be $1 trillion. And if you just look at e-commerce penetration in India, it's still going to be single digits. There is just so much of work to do in India. We don't want to get distracted. So the next few years is going to be about India for sure. Right now, there is no plan to go outside India with the Flipkart brand.
Right. Yeah. Just the last few questions, Kalyan. In terms of policy, we've seen a lot of discussion on e-commerce policy. Is that something that worries you in terms of the changes expected?
No, we don't worry about it because We work very closely with the government. See, one of the biggest things we always want to do is partner with the government. They are a key stakeholder for us and we partner with them. So we are not really worried about anything. So far everything has been fair and reasonable and we will continue the partnership. So nothing to really worry about there.
And are you also having a close look at how Reliance is getting into, this whole play? I mean, they've built out the back end. They have Reliance Trends, they have Reliance Digital, they have, the grocery space sorted. They have the front end in terms of, Jio subscribers. So it's a question of marrying the two. Is that going to be perhaps the dark horse, so to speak?
We don't know. It's a massive business, it's a massive company, and the market is also massive. I just told you, in 4 years it's going to be $1 trillion product commerce market, online plus offline. I think people can play in. So if we have to compete with anyone, we have competed effectively so far and will continue to compete. There is no problem, but the market has potential for multiple players. So we are not that much driven by competition in general. We are lucky to have a very good growth in our user base and our transaction base, and we'll just focus on that.
So the next time I meet you, will you be Kalyan Krishnamurthy CEO or will you be Kalyan Krishnamurthy Group CEO? Because
that's not something which I should speculate about. There is no such thing right now. At Flipkart, I think the DNA of the company is just put your head down and deliver for the customer. That's the only thing we focus on.
And you're confident that as far as BBD is concerned, Flipkart will emerge winner this time as well?
I think we are emerging, and I think early numbers are all out. We've moved on. I think a lot of our leaders are now just looking at business as usual because of last night we opened the mobiles category, and now everything is open. And I think, as I said, we might have to stop the sale a bit earlier than what we originally expected. Because
you would have already met your numbers.
Over-delivered on the numbers. As I said, 75 to 80% share in this festival season is looking very obvious in our favor. So,
Last, give us 2 minutes for a rapid fire. The top 3 deals on your platform that the CEO of Flipkart would recommend to users.
You should look at front-load washing machines under 10,000 rupees. Perfect example of bringing affordable selection for the country. You should look at beds. Perfect Homes, our own private label brand. Look at beds, I think for 6,000 rupees, queen size beds, outstanding offer. Then there is phones, there is MacBooks actually under 50,000. So these are some of the categories which I'm looking at.
What has Kalyan shopped for so far?
Actually, I bought some gym gear for myself day before yesterday when the sale opened. One printer, iPad Pro. So these are the things which I bought so far for myself.
Okay, so those are the deals to watch out for.
Yeah.
And finally, have you shopped on any other platform to maybe compare notes?
No, I'm so confident that the value we get on Flipkart is so superior. I've not felt the need to go to any other platform so far.
All right. On that note, Kalyan, thank you so much for talking to us. There you have it, a special interview with Kalyan Krishnamurthy right here at the Flipkart headquarters in Bengaluru. Hope you took notes as far as the top deals are concerned. But thanks so much for joining us on this special edition.